Gecentreerd.
Oh, hi everybody. You just heard the voiceover lady of my mobile. That's a voiceover especially for blind people. As you will probably notice during this video, or maybe I've already noticed in my ENG
Een gezicht
video,
gecentreerd. Spraak uit.
I just shut her off because it doesn't really work. If you want to bring across a message, because he keeps telling me to, when my head is not centered, I should say, in the middle of the screen. So yeah, this video is all about the confirmation of ENG11, about those beautiful chain of amazing events that God has spoken through in my life, all bringing glory and honor to Him, of course, because what I am about to share is totally not about me. I want to make that very clear, because God has a message that I am going to share with you, and this is going to be the short version. I just made another video. That one was 47 minutes. It's been some time since I made some videos, especially in English, so I gotta get used to it a little bit. But I thought this can be a little bit shorter to save some time. We're mostly always in a hurry. But I must say my time has been really slowing down because of my blindness. Things take a long time before I get them done. But praise to the Lord, He has given me all understanding and knowledge of how to do this on my own. There's no one around here to help me with this video. He has taught me everything through the voiceover technique and my past, also from my past, having much to do with internet and building an architectural platform. So I haven't been blind all of my life. My right eye was blind from when I was 30, and in 2014 I got a glaucoma on both eyes, and that's when also my other eye went bad, my left eye. And I started in the beginning of 2018. I couldn't recognize my wife and kids anymore, and I think in the fall 2020, so 5 years ago, I didn't have any sight any longer. No distinction between day and night. But God is amazing, as you have probably noticed if you have listened to ENG11. He's also speaking to me about the healing of my eyes, as He did in the 8448 video that I also placed on my website. I don't know the code. I think it is 08, but I'm not sure. In English, I make most videos in English and in Dutch. But in that video, he was pointing to the healing of my eyes on the 8th of April. I can give a little tip of the sluier, as we would say in Dutch. What's the English word? A little clue. Simply said. I'm going to release another video I've placed at the beginning of this year, when God spoke to me again on February the 27th about the healing of my eyes. And as you have noticed listening to ENG11, again, this was about 14. I never knew that both the dragon, the big enemy in The Hobbit, was destroyed in chapter 14 through Bilbo, the 14th person on the contract. That is no coincidence. For in the Lord of the Rings, the Sauron was defeated in chapter 14. Frodo and Sam were asleep in a kind of a coma state for 14 days. That is no coincidence, as I found out, because for the healing of my eyes, God spoke to me through the Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King. So all this evil is being destroyed in chapter 14. And 14 means salvation and redemption. That's a beautiful thing. God is so good. So this man, Tolkien, was really a spirit-filled man who used many spiritual signs in his book. And I really, really enjoyed listening to them. The audiobooks of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I even made playlists and they're on my channel also. But I'm having trouble to find these amazing playlists of Phil Dragosh and Bluefax. They made amazing playlists using the music from the films. I saw the films, luckily, yeah, so I really enjoyed them. And the characters and sound effects, it's just like a movie. I was listening to The Lord of the Rings. It's about, I think, about 70 hours total. It's really fun listening to the audiobook of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, as I listened to it 3 times last year. But anyway, to the point, the confirmation. I prayed to the Lord because I was not really comfortable having a date. But I didn't choose the date. God chose the date. He pointed to the date with the number 14. 14 months, 14 days, as you will hear, as you have probably heard in the video of ENG11. Otherwise, I would encourage you to listen to it before you even go further on this one. But you can listen to this one, but you will understand it better and receive the impact better when you have listened to the ENG11 first. But anyway, so God pointed to the date of 5 December because he told me to count 14 months and 14 days from September the 21st, which was the second godly timing wonder, miracle that he did while I was listening to the audiobook of The Hobbit last year. It was the second one. The first one was on May the 6th, second one on September the 21st, and the third one on November the 30th. But the middle one, that's where there was a blackout. If the story would have continued, the dragon would have been killed within a minute, I think. So it's really a really beautiful metaphor of how the deep state, having its relationship or reflecting to the dragon Smaug, will be taken down, destroyed during this blackout. That's what it's all about. And its corrupt financial system will be destroyed. How this will completely work out, I don't know, but I have a feeling. What I do believe is that the banking system will change instantly around the world. I believe from the SWIFT system to a blockchain technology, the QFS, quantum financial system. And that will mean a lot. And it might even happen, because I believe this is going to happen nationwide, not only in America, but we will be relieved of the old tax system. I don't think that will happen at that moment, but I do expect, because the banks, the deep state is falling, so the corruption of the banks, I believe Trump and the White House have been working on this for a long time, preparing it. The debts of mortgages and credits with the bank will totally dissolve, bringing a great wealth transfer back to the people. Because that's what this killing, this freedom, the killing of the dragon, and its setting free of the treasure that was stolen from us. For Smaug had stolen the treasure be sitting on that treasure for more than 100 years. And it's the same with the deep state. They've been stealing from the people all over the world for more than 100 years through the banking system. And it's all going to change. It's really all going to change. I believe that also the inflation will disappear, because that started when they removed the gold from the banking. And I believe that even I heard lately that it even started in Europe. So what exactly is going to happen, I don't know. But this is the main thing. Deep state, their power and authority over the finances, over our wealth, is gone. So I think there's a great chance that even the mortgages will be totally dissolved during these weeks. And that will be amazing. I think there will be a lot of shouting around the world when that happens. The thing is with the blockchain, by the way, is that the banks cannot see what you are doing. The governments, the tax, and all we call it Belastingdienst, the IRS, and you would call it in America, they cannot see what you are doing on your bank account, who you're giving the money to, where you're receiving money from. They can see nothing. From that moment on, they can see nothing anymore. So that's a good thing. But the confirmation. So on the 1st of January this year, God said to me, because I asked of a confirmation, despite of the fact that in itself, looking back to it now, I feel a little bit ashamed, not believing in 100% after showing such great signs and miracles and speaking so clearly and so beautifully to me through these, I say 7 events. But I was unsure because it pointed to a date, and I find that kind of risky and hard to say. So I asked for a confirmation, and I had the first one somewhere between the 15th and the 20th of December last year, when a prophet who I know and sometimes follow on Facebook, he had a prophetic word a few years ago. And he said, that word was quite simple. This will be a December to remember. So he thought last year, 2024, that December was going to be a December to remember. And I was like, oh, no, I don't think so. It was for me a confirmation that this December, 2025, will be a December to remember. Because if this all happens, I assure you, the whole world will be in rejoicing. Will be rejoicing, and no one will ever forget this December, and it will truly be a December to remember. So that was the first one, but it didn't stop at that, because I thought that was okay, that was nice, but I wasn't convinced yet. Then God spoke to me on the 1st of January. 2025, and he said to me, I want you to look up the dates. He said, I want you to look up the Bible verses that correspond to the dates that you received these miracles while listening to the audiobook. It was in that, something like that. I don't remember the exact words. What I've noticed is that I need more words to explain what God is saying. But he's quite good in saying things very clear and very clear in a short way. But anyway, so I was like, oh, okay. But that's almost impossible, Lord, because there's 3 dates, and how can I ever check that? I mean, I have to go through the whole Bible, and and they would have to be in the same book, otherwise it's already impossible. And then I heard Isaiah, and I was like, okay. So I went to the book Isaiah, and I started checking the dates. The verses using the dates that I received these godly timing moments, and that is the 6th of May, the 21st of September, and the 30th of November. 21st? September 21st and November 30th. Yeah, in Dutch we say it the other way around. We say the day and then a month. But in English here's first the month and then the day. So, and he had taught me that before he asked me to do this, because I've been listening to some videos where I learned prophets, where I heard that prophets were doing this, because they would have a dream, for example, and they would wake up, let's say 3 o'clock in the morning, or 3:09, 9 minutes, and then they would look up. Okay, that could point to a Strong's number, or it could be a Bible verse. It could be Isaiah 3 verse 9, for example, or Isaiah 9 verse 3. So I just learned that for a couple of months. So when he said that, I was like, okay, I can do that too. And that's the way it went. And you hear that in an ENG11 video, that God did the same when he told me to count the months and the days. He had done that before. That's why I was used to doing that. So otherwise it would be strange and weird. But now it was because of the first time that he told me to count the months and the days, which I explained in the 8448 video, and which truly amazed me. I had no doubt at all when he told me to count 14 months and 14 days from September the 1st, pointing to 5 December, of course, this year. I had no doubt at all to do that. There wasn't a question of, what is this? No, I had a great experience, amazing experience, I should say, overwhelming, that it was automatic. Of course, I'll do that. So anyway, I started looking up these Bible verses using the dates, and I was totally blown away. And I want to start with the middle one. I wrote on my Facebook a word about this one, and also using the middle one, September the 21st, because that's the central event that brought forth the date of 5 December and the killing of the deep state, of Smaug, the deep state, and the releasing of the treasure and the destroying of the financial system. So, and the deep state, as many of you probably know, in the prophetic, it is often called the New Babylon. Because this network, this international one world government that's already in place, is pretty big and was pretty strong. They were almost there, but thanks to God, he had a plan, and he was not going to allow this to happen. So this New Babylon has to be taken down. And some of you might know that Trump has not only been called his David, but also been called the Cyrus. The Cyrus whom in the Bible destroyed Babylon with a beautiful plan, with a beautiful strategy. And God has given Trump also a beautiful strategy to penetrate, to infiltrate this deep state, this new Babylon, this one world government, to destroy it from within. That's what he's doing. Preparing this great destruction of the financial system and releasing the gold, the treasures back to the righteous owners, to the righteous people. So anyway, I read Isaiah 21 verse 9. And in that verse, there is a watchman on the wall, and he's seeing the army coming back, the chariots, and he shouts, Babylon is fallen, is fallen. And I was just blown away when I heard that. I was like, oh my goodness, Lord. How are you able to do this? All these events that you connected, all this godly timing, and now you are able to even connect it to a Bible verse. And also the other two, they are totally connected to what is happening, to the total message. So the main word brought the main words, and that is that the Babylon has fallen, is fallen. Talk about a confirmation. I was blown away. And it's just so amazing how God did this. But there's another word also, because on the last date, on November the 30th, there were two godly timing moments. One of them, again, chapter 14, that's when God showed me that the Hobbit was the number 14 on the contract, and he said, now count 14 months and 14 days from September the 21st, and I did, bringing us the date of 5 December 2025. But there was another godly timing moment, and that was in chapter 12 before. That's when Bilbo the Hobbit went down the path, a dark tunnel, towards the dragon for the first time. And while he was walking down, suddenly the words were spoken and Bilbo stopped. And right at that time, and I was sitting downstairs at that moment in the living room, and I had my ears, my earbuds in my head, and exactly when that word stopped was spoken, my headphones went dead. Silence. No more sound. I couldn't listen anymore. And then also the story stops, because I have to click on play again. It just stops. I couldn't listen. And I was praying for this, and I was the whole year actually thinking about this, and when should I share this, and what does it mean? And I was going through it all, writing about it, and making that message, which I also posted on my YouTube channel, by the way. I posted a written message about this confirmation. So I encourage you to read it, because it can be sometimes a bit more clear, or it is shorter. It is a long message, but it is shorter than this video message. But this message, this sign of the ear stopping, was all about listening to God, and how he speaks through his prophets and his watchers. Because not only Isaiah 21 was about watchers on the wall, but also Isaiah 30 was all about watchers and prophets, about God's people not wanting to listen, not going to God, what he has to say, but going to the world for refuge, for guidance, and paying a lot of gold for it, paying a lot of money for it, to get their understanding. And God didn't want that. God wanted his people to listen to him. But they refused. They even wanted the path and the road to listening to him to be destroyed. And that was verse 11 of Isaiah 30. They wanted that path and that road to hearing his voice and all this. They didn't want to listen anymore. They wanted it to go. They wanted that path to be removed. And that's Bilbo was in that path of darkness, as these God's people were in darkness. But Bilbo was on his way to destroy, to make the first steps to bring that evil in the dragon to its destruction. So we need to listen. We need to go on and listen to the watchers and prophets to know in what season we are and what is truly happening on the earth. My wife and I are listening to Julie Green a lot and Elijah streams on social media, on Rumble. And when you follow them, you hear exactly what is going on in the world, because God is giving us the news before the news. He is showing us who the puppets are, who the evil ones are, and what is about to happen and what is going on. He's giving so much revelations, but are we listening? And even this message, I'm not a prophet, but I believe I am a watcher. God has shown me that, confirmed that even through these messages, because Isaiah 6 is all about the calling of Isaiah. And as I believe I am called to be a watcher in this moment, in this time. And and that's a confirmation of what God has shown me when at the moment when I left the Reformed Church and came in a charismatic church. In a few months' time, we were called to the front, my wife and I got a prophetic word, which was all about my calling to build his kingdom structures. But in that same period of time, somewhere, brother Felix, one of the leaders in that church, he prayed for me and he said he received that God was gonna give me dreams in the coming nights, and I would have to call him, and then he would explain the dreams. So I did have dreams, and I was amazed because I didn't know God worked that way, and it just amazed me. He received that God was gonna give dreams to me. That was all new for me, hearing God's word. But he showed me now that we can all hear his voice. If sheep can hear his voice, what the Bible says, and they will not listen to a thief, we as his children will surely hear his voice. We should all be able to hear his voice, and that's possible, absolutely. No one excluded. But so I got these dreams, and the second night was I was climbing. It was a dream in which I was climbing a tower that was under construction. It wasn't ready. I couldn't reach the top. I had to stop. Stairs were missing. It was dangerous. I couldn't get to the top. So it was clearly about a watchtower. And later it was confirmed in 2008 when also a seer spoke. I had a conversation with him, and he said, you have to read the book of Dutch Sheets called Watchmen, because I was being attacked on my eyes. That's also a sign. I was an architect and an artist, making paintings and beautiful architecture, and having a lot of ideas and plans and visions. And when you lose your eyes, you cannot see. But the devil forgot that God can use my spiritual eyes, and he is. Praise the Lord for that. He is so good. But anyway, this message of Isaiah 30 is all a warning to us, his children, to listen to the prophets and the watchers, that we don't miss out, because he loves us. He loves us, and it's his love that moves us, and it's his love that brings these messages, because he wants us to be well, to be in peace, to have faith, to know what to do, to stand in our authority and take down these powers and principalities, to come against them, to give us the sword, to give us everything we need to stand up and not give in to this evil and this evil plan. So we need his word. We need the prophets. We need the watchers to show us what God wants to do, what his plans are, and what is happening. So I would really advise you, encourage you to be prepared for the 2 weeks to make sure you get enough food, enough water, cash in the homes, so you can buy something, because probably I think that, I believe, but it hasn't been confirmed, but I hope also that the electricity, and we use gas here in Holland, will still work, but there is a chance that a lot of things might not work, and that I think communication will be down. So warn your family, relatives, friends about this, because that's why I'm making these videos, to show people that this is not me. I could have never made this up in a million years. This is impossible for me to make up. This was God speaking to me, to showing his love and his goodness for you and for the people and for the world, because of his love for us. He does exist. He does exist, and he wants us to be free. He wants to guide us and show us and give us courage and hope, and show us what to do in these 2 weeks, so that we are prepared. And we might have some shortages, that's okay, but we'll have enough to survive. And after that, we shall all rejoice in what God has done. Because there's a lot more things that God is going to show us and do for us. So this is also one of these beautiful steps to prepare us for what all that is coming. And it's going to be truly amazing. So I hope this encouraged you. I want to say God bless you, and do what you need to do. And just know that God really loves you. And I will see you. Oh, there you are. I was looking in the wrong direction all the time. Well, anyway, that's going to be okay too. The healing is coming. I pray the healing and so much more will come also in your life. Get to know God. Walk with him. Walk in the Spirit. And know that he is good. God bless you. Until the next video. Bye-bye.